So if you're a program manager, you probably have wondered sometimes how you're going to progress in your career, how you're going to do your next move, or even if you want to start as a program manager, you many times are wondering what are the things that I need to do in order to become a program manager. In this video, let's talk about the program manager career ladder. So depending on the organization that you work, the organization is going to value different ways of working in order to understand and assess if you are ready for a promotion or not. In some of the companies, this might be a very kind of a strict process with having surveys or assessments, having actually a career matrix or a product management competency matrix or whatever it is called defined in the company. And in other places, this is going to be a much more freestyle process. But if you're thinking about the regular aspects that companies are going to look into and measure you against when you're trying to understand if you are ready to progress in your career, there are going to be 5 things, in my opinion, that they are going to measure. First of all, it's going to be how visionary you are. How are you able to convey a vision, to create a vision for new products, for a portfolio of products? How are you able to also sell that vision internally to the rest of the company? Número 2 is going to be how strategic are you? Are you able to understand what are going to be the steps for you to reach that vision that you set as a product manager? Next one is going to be execution. Are you able to actually drive not just those strategic areas that you have defined earlier, but are you able to create out of those strategies? Can you create a roadmap? Can you define features? Can you actually drive the implementation together with the teams, that drive the processes that the teams had to have in order to be able to implement those features? Número 4. Business understanding. You are going to also have to have understanding of what the type of business is that you are driving. How do you measure this? For many program managers, this might be this obscure word that sometimes business is, but in reality, what you have to be able is to understand what your customers' problems are, how are you going to create value for them. Depends on how advanced you are going to be able also to understand what is the potential market size, how you are going to address that market, how you are potentially going to price your products, and many other things that you have to understand when you're progressing in your career. Número 5, influencing others. Here you have to concentrate on how you are going to be able to convey others the message that you are trying to explain or the goals that you are trying to achieve. When talking about influencing others, the first things that come to my mind is that you have to be able to, for example, upsell your vision, the new products that you want to create, to others. This can be, for example, different types of stakeholders, typically different type of management teams, but you are going to have to be able to convince these people and sell them on the value of what idea that you are trying to explain to them. Influencing others also means that you are able to convince the community or drive the community that you are working with into the view and the vision that you want to achieve, and also potentially to the ways of working. You can also be thinking about operations within this influencing others. And potentially some of you might think that what I'm talking about when talking about influencing others is to manipulate them to do something. That's no bueno, don't do it. You want to be able to inspire them and also come to an agreement of what potentially is going to be the scope of that feature or that product that you're going to be building. So now let's talk a little bit about the different roles that there's going to be in the career ladder for product managers. And bear in mind, these are going to change a lot, depends on the company that you are, because the positions and the roles in product management, they can change a ton, depends on the companies, depends on the countries as well. So try to adapt this to kind of your local or company requirements. So I will concentrate only in product manager roles, which are not managerial roles. So they will not have teams that are reporting to them. In this case, I'm talking more just about individual contributors in a way. Of course, then there's going to be all the managerial positions for product management. For example, directors of product management, VPs, CPOs, Chief Product Officer, others out there. If you're interested, let me know in the comments below and I will do a video about this as well. So first of all, there's going to be the associate product manager. In some cases, this can be a junior product manager. This person is going to be mainly focused on execution. So they will be able to handle, plan tasks, potentially define features, and they are going to be able to a certain degree implement the roadmap against what has been planned by other product managers in the company. Typically, these people are going to be working with some more senior role, somebody like a senior product manager that is going to help them and guide them through the process of learning the traits of product management. If you're an associate product manager and you don't have a buddy, somebody in the company that is working with you pretty much all the time, the company is probably not doing it very well. But during this period, you are going to have to learn more to understand better certain parts or certain aspects that are outside the execution of product management. You probably should be able to start understanding better the business side of product management, and at least from the point of view of being able to understand the customers and their problems and their needs, and how your product is going to bring value to them, or is already bringing value to them. The next one is going to be the product managers. Product managers typically are going to be focused very heavily on execution, but to a quite high degree, they are going to also have a good understanding of what the business is. And here means that especially they are going to understand pretty well what the customers' problems are. How are you helping with your company, with your product, potentially to make value to those customers? Either this is financial value or whatever type of value that you are bringing. And potentially you are also able to understand what is the market size, the market potential, define different user personas together with your design team, and be able to create those personas that are going to help you categorize your product and your features and understand which one of those features are serving the different personas that you have. Another part that the product managers are also going to look a lot into is into how to influence people. When you think about here, influencing people is that you are going to have to work with others and do some kind of a stakeholder management as a product manager. This means that you have to work with your team, you have to be able to set some kind of operations with your team. So for example, the ways of defining work, the ways of defining features, the ways of defining epics, tasks, whatnot, the way of defining who are your stakeholders are, who do you have to consult, who do you have to work with to have informed so they understand what the progress of the product that you're building is. And of course, as a product manager, you are going to spend probably 80% of your time in execution, meaning that you're going to spend most of your time defining roadmaps, implementing features, defining features, implementing them together with your team, working with a trio of tech lead, product designer, product manager, and in some other companies, this is not going to be just a trio. It might be a quartet, it might be a quintet, it can be more people, depends on how the squads are organized in your company. And I don't want to say that this is just the definition of what a product manager should do, because in many companies, this is completely different. In some companies, especially if you're thinking about smaller companies, product managers also have to take into account the strategy. While in some other companies, product managers usually hand over a strategy. They might have a say in that strategy, but it's created by somebody else, and then they're responsible in implementing against that strategy, sometimes defining and owning the actual roadmap for the product. Senior product managers, on the other hand, are going to be much more senior roles, obviously, than product managers are, meaning that they're going to have much more experience when doing their job or doing product management than a normal product manager is going to have. One of the big differences is that they are going to be much more strategic than product managers are. Sometimes they are going to own the strategy for a certain product, sometimes they are going to be part of defining that strategy together with the rest of the team. This can be directors, VPs, CTOs, whatnot. But once these strategies align and agreed, they are going to be able to define KPIs and OKRs to be able to bring focus to the team to deliver against those goals that you have set up in your strategy. They're going to be much more experienced also in stakeholder management. They're going to be much more familiar with the people that you had to contact with, even to basic things like define the stakeholders for the project, to define who they had to be contacting, how often do they have to contact, how the reporting is happening, what are the different people that you had to work with in order to connect, in order to be able to get your job done, get the projects approved, get the projects moving forward and actually crystallizing into the products that you want to achieve. They're typically going to be better at influencing others, probably just because of the experience that they have. They have been working more with leadership teams. They have been already selling their ideas, pitching the new ideas, for example, for new products to those management teams or leadership teams. This is going to be something that it will require time, and also it's not just about talking, and it's not just about sweet talking somebody into convince them that your idea is great. It's just to understand what is that these people require in order to understand if your idea is a good idea or not. And typically one of the most important things for me as a senior product manager is that they're going to be much more focused on that outcome, when usually product managers might be more focused on output. The senior product manager is going to be much more focused on creating an impact for their own team, creating an impact for the customers, creating an impact for the business, and creating an impact for the company. Finally, in some companies, there are going to be other roles like principal product managers, who typically are going to be very, very senior product managers that in some cases they are going to be able to set the product vision, they're going to be able to set the product strategy or work with others to set it up. They're going to be not just strategic in their decisions, but they're also going to be able to understand what the business out there is and come up with visions and ideas for new products by creating value to those customers, understanding that this value is also translated then into a viable business for the company. Another difference between the principal product managers and a senior product manager is that typically principal product managers are going to be working closer to management teams, working closer to leadership teams, or product leadership, depends on the size of the organization. They're going to be the bridge person many times between the product management team and actually the product leadership team. They're going to be also very experienced compared to a senior product manager when it comes to understanding the business. They're going to be able or much more capable to analyze markets, understand market opportunities, understand gaps on the product offering that there is for customers out there, and in the end they're going to be able to create new businesses for the company. So probably most of us want to advance in our careers, develop in our careers. What I wanted to tell here are what are the different areas that you want to look into when you want to move into the next career opportunity. And don't take for granted that no company is going to offer you to move to the next career position when you don't have all the requirements in the previous one. So you cannot be a senior product manager if you are not already able to do product management and do that work on your own. Most companies actually are going to look for somewhere in between. When you start to get some of the capabilities and the skills of a product or of a senior product manager is when they might be able to, or when they might be thinking about offering you that senior product management position. Usually companies, they are not going to tell you that in the moment that you have all the skills for a product manager, they're not going to offer you to be a senior product manager. You have to be able to show that you are able to do the job. So if you want to advance in your career, once you fulfill the criteria for a certain role, start to look how can you improve and learn about the skills that are required for the next one. That's how you're going to be able to move up that career ladder that probably most of us want to do. So what role that you have right now in your company? Are you already a product manager or associate product manager? Do you want to be a product manager? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to know more about product management and what are the skills required to be a product manager, go check out this video. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot with YouTube. I'm YouTube promoting this content to other people, and it helps a lot with a very small channel that this one is at this point. I will see you in the next one, and remember, stay safe.